What's up, everybody? This is another episode, and I want to talk sports. I want to talk the Lakers trade for Luka Doncic. I want to talk what are we looking at here, right? What did we see, right? So let's go back to so let's start with how this trade even happened, right? So I did a little research, and I looked at the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Mark Cuban is no longer the man in charge, right? So the new investment group from Sands, they took over, and a gentleman by the name of Paul Dumont is the new governor now, right? The new governor of the Dallas Mavericks, and he kind of makes all the decisions, right? And his history is he used to be a former finance banker, he was in the finance thing, right? He was a banker, Wall Street, that kind of guy, right? So he's kind of a matter of fact money kind of guy, and he's just new to the thing. He's new to basketball, right? They just took over. Mark Cuban is no longer the head of the thing. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, let's kind of break it down from there, right? So what these franchises do, whenever you have new management, you have people that kind of take over, they want to kind of put their stamp. They want to put their stamp on what goes on with their teams, right? Because if the team is successful, they want to take full credit for it. They want to say that I did that. I drafted that player. I was the reason why that success happened. So if you took a player that has already been drafted as an established superstar, and he kind of comes in, or he or she comes in, and they're like, you win a championship with that team, but that superstar was somebody you did not draft. It doesn't really say a lot for you, so to say, even though that's not true, but that's the way a lot of these guys look at it, because they want to keep their job, right? They're making millions of dollars, and you can't fault them for that. So this new ownership group, Paul Dumont's the governor, and so Luka Doncic is a 25-year-old superstar. He has been in the league for 7 years. He was pretty much, that's a Mark Cuban, who was the former governor of the Dallas Mavericks, the shot caller, the decision maker. So he wants to put his stamp on it. So Luka Doncic's contract is coming up, and he's eligible for a max contract, which equates to about $68 to $70 million a year. And he can sign what they call a supermax contract. When you're with the organization and you sign one contract, then you're eligible for the supermax contract. That's to kind of keep superstars there. Luka Doncic is a superstar, right? He's a high output guy. He's only 25 years old. He's been in the league since he was 18. He comes from overseas, very capable player, charismatic. He kind of fits the T to everything. But for $70 million a year, and he's not somebody you drafted, Patrick Dumont is I'm going to look in another direction. So there's a couple ways that you can make this trade, or you can let this guy go. You can let him go and play out his contract, and you never extend the contract, and you just lose that value, right? You lose the value, the trade value, which maybe you can get somebody for him. So what he does is, you can make a public trade or say that you're shopping this guy. Then there's going to be a lot of backlash, because Luka Doncic for the Dallas Mavericks, he's a very popular player. So another option is to do a midnight trade, at the last minute trade, where you can get in, get out, make the trade, and be done with it, right? Where the sting will be after the fact, not during the fact. So in other words, the fans won't stop you from making the trade because of public outcry, but they're just going to have to deal with the aftermath of it. And that's exactly what happened. Patrick Dumont made a last minute trade offer to the Los Angeles Lakers. Los Angeles Lakers, they saw an opportunity to move on from Anthony Davis, who is a great player, but Anthony Davis's reputation of he has his intensity, consistent intensity, has been questioned at times, right? And so you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and you have a bunch of other teams, and the Lakers are playing really good, by the way. They're 10 games above 500. And so the Lakers see an opportunity. They get approached with this deal for this trade, and the Dallas Mavericks see an opportunity to let go of a guy that's going to cost them $70 million a year in exchange for a guy named Anthony Davis, who maybe is not worth as much. He's still superstar in the NBA, but he's not there yet, right? He's not at that point yet where he's not over the hill, but he's right at the top of it. So he might not get $70 million a year, but and also too, if he goes to Dallas and they re-sign him, he's got to sign a contract, then wait a couple years and sign a bigger contract. So you're going to delay this massive output of dollars per year, right? With these supermax, these are established veterans that are franchise kind of cornerstone players. And so you have that, right? And so in the Lakers, you have an opportunity to get a trade where you get this 25-year-old superstar and you get rid of Anthony Davis, who again is not his activity. Like, he's a great player, but his intensity and his leadership have been kind of questioned for a long time. And LeBron James is getting old. His son is there. LeBron James is the established superstar who makes a ton of money, but Anthony Davis hasn't kind of taken over. He kind of hasn't taken over for the team. He's kind of happy being second fiddle. And LeBron James is already 40 years old, and he needs somebody to be that first fiddle so he can kind of reduce his minutes, not be as intense, and be able to kind of stretch out his career for maybe 1 or 2 more years, because it seems like LeBron James just wants to keep on playing. And so the Lakers are presented with this opportunity. Now, here's the other side with the Los Angeles. The reason why this trade happened so fast, and the reason why the Lakers were so agreeable to this, is they have a brand new coach, a young coach who's a rookie in JJ Redick. Now, look at his opportunity. His opportunity is to get this new, fresh player to the franchise. He's not new. He's 25 years old, but you have this new player to the franchise, and now he has an opportunity to build something with a new superstar. See, that's another thing, right? So that's where it's a positive for them. The Lakers kind of get a fresh start where they move on from Anthony Davis, and then they pick up Luka Doncic, which is kind of cool, right? So kind of like it's a good thing for the Lakers. The Dallas Mavericks, they disconnect from Luka Doncic, and they get rid of him, and they don't have to pay him $70 million a year, because the new ownership of the Dallas Mavericks, they really don't want to put out that kind of money. It's kind of an investment banker kind of move, right? Like, he's just looking at Patrick Dumont is just looking at pure dollars and cents. And he's like, well, we got to draft a person. Like, it's almost like he wants to start fresh. So he gets to start fresh. He gets a good player in Anthony Davis, a big man, quality player. By the way, too, his first game with the Dallas Mavericks gets hurt, right? Gets hurt. Luka Doncic now goes to the Los Angeles Lakers, where it's showtime. It's like it's not only you're going to get more sponsorship deals, but if you really thrive in that situation, you're going to get all these auxiliary opportunities that, number one, a lot of franchises don't just have, because the Lakers are the Lakers. They're in one of the biggest markets. They'll get some of the biggest exposure. So he has all these opportunities. And Luka is a very charismatic guy, right? Like, he's going to fit in just right. And so it's kind of a win-win for everybody else. But this idea that, like, Luka was not really an intense player, he got the Dallas Mavericks to the finals. But I will say, his first game back, he looked a little bit out of shape. He's coming back from an injury where he's been gone for a while. So he does look a little bit out of shape, but you can't judge that because of the fact that he has been injured. It wasn't like he was playing and then the next day they traded him. That's not what happened here. He was injured. So this observation that he is not a team player, he's not this, he's not that. Like, there was all this stuff that was being talked to the media, and a lot of the sports procrastinators, whatever it was, they were trying to say that it was because of his lack of intensity. He wasn't in shape. He's not motivated. Like, I don't know that all that stuff is true. And let's say some of that is true, right? So you pair him up with a person like LeBron James, and in the first game, you can tell that they were kind of like liking the fact that he was there, because now it gives LeBron James a breather, but it also gives somebody that can kind of take over the game scoring wise, and you could just feed Luka the ball once he gets in shape, because again, he was injured. It's not necessarily that he doesn't stay in shape, but the perception is that he's a lazy player. But I don't agree with that kind of notion, right? I think he's a quality player. The reason why he's 27 and 25 years old and a superstar, like there's a reason why he's a good player. So I think that that's going to be dispelled in the next couple of weeks. The Lakers are now 13 games above 500. They could possibly be the second seed in the NBA playoffs. They're contenders. They have to gel. There was a trade for a big man that has kind of fallen through, but then they're kind of challenging that. But more specifically, we're just talking about this trade with Luka. There's a lot of positives for everybody. Everybody kind of had a win. They kind of all took W's in this, right? And hopefully for Luka, he kind of senses this as being a fresh start. He could sign a 2 or 3 year deal and then get a supermax deal for $70 million. So he still has all that. He's 25 years old. He's still young enough. He's been in the league for 7. So the way it works, in the NBA, you have to have so much time in the league, and then you get eligible for bigger and bigger contracts the longer you stay with a certain franchise. So if Luka in fact, does stay with the franchise with the Los Angeles Lakers, he could work his way to get those Supermax deals again, which he's young enough to get one or two of those more deals if he thrives with the Los Angeles organization. Now, a young head coach in JJ Redick has a lot to prove, and that's a good young player that the Lakers organization can hang their hat on and build. Because remember, these basketball franchises, they're like they're billion-dollar corporations, and so having a guy like Luka Doncic on as like the face of the Lakers is a positive, right? He also brings international appeal, and we see a little bit of parallel to that. I'm going to end with this. You see a little bit of parallel to that with the Los Angeles Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani and a lot of the Japanese players that are coming in. They're expanding the realm of the sports to international play, and a person like Luka Doncic is in a good position for the Lakers to really exploit that and emphasize that and build on that, because some of the ownership group for the Lakers they're all tied into the Dodgers organization, so they'll have some parallels, so they'll be able to kind of figure that out. So anyways, what are your thoughts on this trade? I want to hear from you. Let me know. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Again, the Dallas Mavericks were happy to let go of Luka Doncic because they didn't want to pay him, based on the new governor, Patrick Dumont, making a business decision for the organization money-wise. Anyways, what do you think? Talk to you later. Bye.